Hey Gracie, can you explain to me what ALS stands for?
But of course, ALS stands for the anterolateral spinal cord. It is the ascending pathway of the spinal cord with free nerve endings. ALS is known for being a sensory pathway for pain, temperature, and crude touch, sending its signals to the somatosensory region in the thalamus.
Thank you. Can you explain to me what the corticospinal tract is?
The corticospinal tract is a white matter motor pathway starting at the cerebral cortex that terminates on lower motor neurons and interneurons in the spinal cord, controlling movements of the limbs. The corticospinal tract begins in several parts of the brain, including not just the motor areas, but also the primary somatosensory cortex and premotor areas.
Emily, can you tell me what the DCML means?
The DCML stands for the dorsal column medial lemniscus pathway. It's a sensory pathway of the central nervous system that conveys fine touch, 2-point discriminations, vibration, and proprioception. The DCML then transmits the sensory information to the primary somatosensory cortex of the brain. The primary sensory neuron in the DCML pathway is the pseudo-unipolar neuron.
Thank you.
So basically, I'm going to be explaining the DCML, and there's basically 4 receptors, but they're all really hard to explain, but here they are anyways. And so first we need to understand that the DCML has 3 neurons, and that's different for each of the spinal cord pathways. And so the first neuron is where it starts from the lower limb and the upper limb, and it goes all the way up to the medulla. And so basically you can see that it passes through the dorsum column and the cunate nucleus, and then finally it does a crossover or a decussation, which you already know, which is when something crosses over in its axons. And so after it creates the decussation from the gracile nucleus, it'll go up all the way, and that's when the second neuron will hit, and it will always cross no matter what. And so now we've located in the pons and the cerebellum, so we'll go all the way up and we'll hit the VPML. And so the VPML is the ventral posterior lateral nucleus of the thalamus. And so after that we hit the VPML, which is the third neuron. We're going to go all the way up, and it's going to split into 2 different parts. The first part is going to hit the somatosensory cortex, and the other one is going to go to the other cortex, but the other one's going to be near the midline.
Sophia, can you explain the ALS?
Yeah, start off from the bottom of a spinal cord. You have free nerve endings, which start at the dorsal root ganglion and go all the way up between the pons and cerebellum and the medulla, which is the second neuron. Then it will hit the VPL and VPM, in which the third neuron will enter to hit the somatosensory cortex.
Thank you. Hey Alicia, could you explain the corticospinal cord?
Yeah, sure. In which it will first start at the lower motor neurons, in which a second pathway will open up with the limbs. You have to know the ACC and the ACT are the acyl M and the lower motor neurons, while the pathway that goes with the limbs and with the LCT. After the 2 pathways cross through the medulla, decussation is open, and with the neuron is first examined at the upper motor neurons. After that, it will hit the VC, which is internal capsule, and split into 2 different parts of the acyl and the limbs.
Thank you.
You're welcome.